I think internet freedom should be protected to the max, as much as we can. You should be able to go online, post anonymously, post erroneous claims. Why is Hassan, poor, sweet, innocent man, being attacked for that comment? You can't blame these communities without having solid evidence.
She should not be allowed to broadcast videos ever again.
You would have to ingest my poop. That's what he says. There's an awesome element to that. You're like an evil, crazy, neurotic freak, Ethan. Let's move on to H3, okay? So I'm only gonna watch this one.
In my long career on YouTube,
I'm not gonna watch any of the rest of it. I don't care. I get the basic story here, okay? I understand the basic story. Now, here's my problem. I don't think people are applying their principles consistently. If people are eating this video up completely, I saw a few moments of this video. If people are eating this video up completely, I do not believe they are applying their standards consistently. Because I remember a few years ago, there was a character called Careful's online who was having a fight with a little forum that she really didn't like, and a lot of other people like her really didn't like. And the issue with this forum is that they would catalog things, they would repost content of the person, and they would make claims of mixed truth about the subject, which is awfully similar to a situation going on right now with Ethan Klein. So I'm not gonna make any firm statements just yet, because I don't know what people have said or what people's takes are. But I did see a moment in this video where essentially Ethan cries that people are legitimizing H3 snark by taking content from it or whatever. And that is just the Kiwi Farms argument. That is the Careful's Destiny Kiwi Farms argument. So I don't like the idea that people are now signing on to that. That is not... If people are doing that, that's really bad. That's really embarrassing.
I've pretty much seen it all. I've been swatted several times with LAPD help.
Well, Ethan swept for Careful's. Ethan had Careful's on and didn't ask her any interrogating questions, basically, and just let her go with it.
Helicopters, the street shut down, police...
So it's not an inconsistency with Ethan, but I fear that my contemporaries, my colleagues, maybe saying silly things about it. Or even chatters saying silly things in Discord. I came in with no understanding of the situation the other day and started arguing with people. Well, I wasn't even arguing. I was just asking questions in Spicy Chat and being like... I felt like people were getting a bit overzealous about it. It was Stylo and QQ I felt were being a bit overzealous, but I asked a few questions and they seemed to be reasonable about it. No one cares about Ethan's plight to take Hassan. That's absolutely true. Yes, yes. And Hassan is a sweet, innocent man who's done nothing wrong. So I'm sick of these people going after him, using Ethan to go after him. These people are just totally happy to sign on to this neurotic Jewish sociopaths crusade against this poor, sweet, innocent man for their own interests. It's despicable.
Guns drawn, doing a perimeter around my house. We've also been visited by the FBI 3 times. They were all to warn us of a credible threat against our lives. One time, most recently, he came at 7 a.m. and said, "Do not open any packages until you hear from me, as we have credible bomb threats against you that we found online." I thought I'd seen it all. I knew this content nuke was going to draw a lot of negative attention, seeing how extreme Hassan and his fan base are, and his orbiters. But the lengths to which they've gone to harass us and get revenge for going after their god king Hassan has frankly gone...
No, I did see that Adam McIntyre clip, and the Adam McIntyre thing was worse than the others. But he played, we'll see the other clips, okay? But Adam McIntyre, listen, you won't be finding any Adam McIntyre defense on this channel. That's for fucking certain. That is one person who I will not be taking defense of. He is absolutely a total rat. A total self-interested, despicable... I don't want to just say gay, but a rat, okay?
On beyond any type of point of civility and humanity, to the point where they're calling CPS, Child Protective Services, to come to our house and break up our family. On Friday morning, an agent showed up to our house saying that they had received an anonymous tip that our children were crawling around in dog shit, eating dog shit, and
Did you this video lagging a bit?
contracting diseases. Not only have they called CPS on us, now they're starting to try to call in a 5150 to get me committed. It's really gone on too far, and at this point, I'm ready to take no prisoners, take the gloves off, and call out everybody who needs to be called out. The thing is, once you target my children, then a line's been crossed that cannot be walked back. Once my kids are involved, when people...
So, I 100% agree. Targeting people's kids, calling CPS on someone is wrong. Obviously, it's bad. What do you want me to say? Obviously, it's terrible. But I haven't seen a compelling piece of evidence that says it's Snark's fault. It's Snarkers doing it. Again, it's like the Kiwi Farms thing. It's like the Keffels getting swatted thing. It's like, yeah, could you circumstantially point at this website and say, well, this website really hates this person, so it's probably them? Yeah, you can kind of do that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's true at all. That's not proven in any way. And the idea that you would attempt to have the place taken down on that basis is crazy to me. You'd sign on to having it taken down. It's like, I understand, by Reddit's own standards, the content that is on H3 Snark, by their TOS and the things they've banned other subreddits for, H3 Snark should be taken down. So I do believe that H3 Snark should probably be taken down. Because it does seem to be that they are repeatedly, in a pattern, violating the TOS in a pretty horrendous way that other people wouldn't get away with. So yeah, that shouldn't... If that's not allowed on the platform, it should be banned. If that's not what the platform's for, go do it on Kiwi Farms, frankly. Like, that's where you guys belong. But the idea that on the basis of blaming them for the CPS call, you would sign on to action against Snark, that doesn't line up if you supported Keffels, if you were against Keffels in the past. That doesn't line up to me. That's not a consistent position. We don't have good evidence to say it was Snarkers. It's not a good reason to take the subreddit down. I think the argument is that KF would discourage contacting CPS, but Snark encouraged it. I don't know if that's enough for you, though. Again, that's more about users. You can make claims about moderation, sure. What would be good evidence for you? People claiming credit. You know, someone claiming credit in a way that doesn't seem like a joke. That would be a good evidence if Ethan subpoenaed CPS. But I think jumping, if you're someone that values internet freedom, jumping to, well, it seems like it was this community, so we should ban that community. That's not the position you should be taking. You should be asking for more than that. And you should be asking for, like, my standard typically, to have somewhere taken down for this sort of thing, it isn't just saying, someone saying, I think CPS should be called. I don't think this guy's looking after his kids. Someone would have to be saying things like, I'm going to call CPS, or you should call CPS. Here's the details you would need. Like coordination. Coordination of like harassment brigading, that sort of thing. That's typically my line. That's typically my line. Yeah, BadEmpanada, look, frankly, BadEmpanada's probably done a million things that I think he should be banned for. I haven't looked into it. Just from what I've heard of BadEmpanada, though, there's probably a million things he's done that I would have issue with. So, I mean, you could say BE claim credit, but I would already denounce BE. We're talking about the Snark subreddit right now. No, I don't. Just a reminder calls to CPS are anonymous. No, that's not good enough at all. I value internet freedom. I value being able to express your right to free speech and talk about things that may even bother other people on the internet.
Is fine,
okay?
But the pearl clutching on Ethan's behalf is so cringe. People think Ethan's kids eat dog crap because Ethan said it.
Thank you for the £5. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Ethan gave her in for that, ultimately. It's his public statements that caused it. We'll get into that. But the point is, I value people being able to do what they want online. Obviously not on every platform. Platforms can have their own rules, so Reddit should probably remove the subreddit. But the idea that you're staking like a moral claim that this community shouldn't exist, based on the evidence that I've seen so far, I don't think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. I think it's totally fine. If Ethan wants to sue users for defamation or sue moderators for actions they might have taken, go for it. Go for it. If you can prove that in court, if you can prove a defamation case in court, great. No problem with that. But I don't like the other people signing on to the taking down of the subreddit based on incomplete evidence for things they don't know necessarily happened that way, and actions that don't necessarily meet their standards that they've previously expressed for when something should be banned.
People are targeting my children, harassing my children. There's no length that I won't go to take care of this. And I think that's something that every parent can relate to.
You know the law of Tricia Snark? No, I don't know much about it, but I know that he mentions it in this video. So can we stop being retarded fucking freaks, Lokico, like you always are in chat, and try and jump ahead. Try and jump ahead like an idiot. We'll get there. We'll get there.
These people, incidentally, who are promoting this type of insanity are, in fact, childless and will likely remain that way. The CPS agent showed up and he started asking us all kinds of questions like, who feeds the kids? Who takes care of the kids? What do you do to the kids when you get angry? How do the kids sleep? Do the kids have toys? Is that what happens when you get mad, or what happens when your kids get mad? He walked around the house. He looked in our refrigerator. He walked all around looking for dog shit, apparently, although when he showed up immediately, he said, wow, this place is clean. Our 3- and 5-year-old boys were at school. Our 8-month-old is upstairs sleeping when he visits, and he says, I need to go upstairs and look at your infant visibly to see him and confirm he's okay. Well, he's napping in his crib. He goes upstairs to look around the house, to snoop around. He investigates Sonny, our youngest, wakes him up from his nap, and even though he woke him up during his nap, he was greeted immediately actually by a smile, because Sonny is probably the happiest baby in the entire
wow,
world.
Ethan, I'm really caring about your family right now. Wow, Ethan, I really care.
He smiles at everybody.
Wow, I can't wait to go around and watch every other commentator reacting to this, pretend they care about Ethan's family for 10 minutes.
His name is Sonny because he is just a ray of sunshine. He just gave him a big smile. I mean, he's just the sweetest kid in the world. So we went back downstairs to continue the conversation, at which point he said something that both me and Hila had us both saying abso-fucking-lutely not. He said he was going to go to the children's school to interrogate them there. We both said, you are an absolute...
Are you not weeping, Kuihman? Is this not the biggest tragedy ever? I do. I have a horrible feeling in me. Whenever I look at Ethan, I see this horrible case of Jewish neuroticism. And I realize this could happen to me at any moment. I could fall prey to this. I could fall prey to this at any moment. Something could just happen in my life and I just fall prey to Jewish neuroticism and start wilding out.
Absolutely not going to ever go to their school and talk to them. That is fucking insane. We agreed that he'll come back to our house and interview our 3- and 5-year-old children at a time when they're at home, so he doesn't need to humiliate them in front of his peers, his teachers, the staff there, and, you know, needlessly stigmatize them. My young 3- and 5-year-old children who are...
Can you tell me the moral difference between Null saying he keeps revenge porn on his site because it's important for discussion, and this subreddit clipping Ethan stating his children are eating poo? Well, the Null thing is less excusable. I think there's less justifications for the Null thing, obviously. But people are still going to side with KF over Snark because it's easy to hate Hassan or something, I guess. I don't know, man. Me personally, I have a consistent position. I like internet freedom. I don't think these places should be fucking like completely raped and shut down unless they've done something that is like existingly against the law in a serious way that means they should be shut down. I think internet freedom should be protected to the max as much as we can. You should be able to go online, post anonymously, post erroneous claims, you know, not necessarily just maliciously lie about people. You can't just defame. But yeah, if you want to be erroneous and misrepresenting in the way you talk about things, ultimately, I think you should be able to do it. Doxing's a different thing. Doxing's so difficult, man. Doxing is so difficult. Doxing is morally wrong to me. I don't know where I would want the law to be. Because it's so difficult to draw a line on. Like, what is publishing someone's information for the purposes of harassment? Where do you draw the line there? No, I don't support doxing. I'm very anti-doxing, actually. I've always been very anti-doxing. Isn't this similar to swatting though? Yep. No one's saying it's not. That's why that's why I keep comparing it to Keffels. Drawing the line somewhere before someone swats you or comes to your home is always a good choice. I don't know what the fuck you're even trying to say with that. I don't get to draw the legal line on doxing. That's not my choice. We're discussing the legal line. I think it's wrong to do. Prim doesn't disavow someone in 5 minutes on posting his dogs in this chat. Nice. I think doxing addresses should be illegal. But in the US, most people's addresses are public. I know doxing doesn't require private information. But like what? So you're saying that the argument would basically be that if I link to white pages, if I link to the URL on white pages that shows someone's address, that's a crime. Like, it's so tricky. This is why I say it's so tricky to draw the line here. I don't know where I would want that legal line drawn. It's obviously for the purpose of IRL harassment, but I don't know how easy it is to determine that intent. I don't know if I would want that intent determined. Like, it's why I'm saying, like, it's so difficult for me to draw a line on that. I don't want to think about it right now. I'm not going to come to a position on doxing legality right now. Okay? I think the best thing to do to combat doxing is to educate people on like how to keep their information secure and to focus on data protection laws, like GDPR and stuff like that, getting that instituted in more countries, having the US have like GDPR and stuff like that, to actually give you more power over what data you have that is allowed to be public and how you can take it down. Okay, I think that's the best way to approach it. I don't think making the act of doxing illegal is the right way to go about it. Intent does matter, though. Intent does matter. Intent is integral to doxing laws. Doxing, the definition of doxing requires intent to harass. It is about the collation and publication of personally identifying information for the purposes of harassment. Because journalists, quote unquote, dox people all the time. But it's newsworthy. So it's not doxing, because it's not for harassment. There's there's lots of times where you post someone's personal identifying information, and it's not doxing, because there's some other reason for it being posted. Doxing specifically has to include the intent to harass. Why else would you post someone's address if not to incite IRL harassment? What if there's a Russian running an account? There's someone who lives in Russia running an account that's ostensibly an American. Well, KF actually changed policies recently based on that codex. Because of the increased doxing legislation, I believe Null actually put out some big post basically saying, like, don't say you're doxing anymore. Don't call what you're doing doxing. You're making a journalistic piece. That isn't someone's home address, it's their editorial building. Because it makes it more difficult to prove the intent to harass, basically. So yeah, I don't know where, I'm not going to carry on talking about this forever. I don't know where I would draw the legal line on it. Obviously, morally, I think doxing is totally wrong. But I don't know where I would want the law set. I don't know where I'd be comfortable having the law set, because I want to like I say, I value internet freedom, okay? I think you should be able to do most stuff online. Okay? I think you should be able to go online and fuck around. Doesn't really include doxing, but I don't know where I'd want the law drawn, because I don't know what other stuff it would affect. Anyway, where were we?
He'll come back to our house and interview our 3- and 5-year-old children at a time when they're at home, so he doesn't need to humiliate them in front of his peers, his teachers, the staff there, and, you know, needlessly stigmatize them. My young 3- and 5-year-old children who are sweet and innocent as can be have not.
So, okay, the reason I would say the Eldrazi... I'm getting fucking stuck on this, man. We're going to spend ages on this. The reason I would say the Eldrazi thing wasn't doxing is because, ostensibly, when we found that name, it was deliberately tied, and I still believe it was deliberately tied. It was deliberately tied to his username. There was no reason to think he was trying to obscure that. It was only being used in for harassment, quote unquote, in the sense that people were saying his name because it was a funny name. They read it and thought it was a funny name and just kept made jokes involving the name. That's using the information for harassment, quote unquote. But there was no reason to believe that that wasn't meant to be tied to his identity.
Thanks for the raid. Welcome, everybody.
Dude, I had fucking Vampira's Twitch stream open somewhere. I've been raiding some other freak. Get rid. Get rid. Anyway, let's get back into this.
Stigmatize them. My young 3- and 5-year-old children who are sweet and innocent as can be have not yet been interrogated by a CPS agent, but that is
also okay. Wait, we'll get mostly irrelevant things out of the way before we get too far into this. I don't think he was surprised at all. It was his TikTok username. It was like not just on his PayPal, but it was like on the donation page. It listed it, and it was like in somewhere else as well. It was like everywhere, dude. It was not accidental. I don't believe it was accidental for a fucking second. I think he was just fine going by his name and then use it as an excuse because we found his fucking wife's OnlyFans or whatever. Anyway, not the point. Not the fucking point, okay? What I was going to say is one thing I do think there is a criticism of this whole Ethan thing that I haven't heard really contended with very strongly. Which is that, well, you know, Ethan doesn't support genocide, obviously. The reality is that his entire discussion around Israel-Palestine focuses on basically, here's all the lies people are telling about Israel. Here's all the horrible things people are saying about Israelis. And it feels like almost tone deaf. It's like when we're at the point, I understand Ethan shouldn't lay down and get slandered, 100%. But when we're at the point in the conflict that we are with the US government that exists right now, the idea that you're focusing more on the way people are unfair to Israel and communism in America, rather than the endlessly, you know, getting blown apart Palestinians and the insane government you've got in America now that are supporting it and aligning with other, like, insane powers around the world. It's like, why, you know, it just feels weird to be, like, angry at Hassan and angry at, you know, whoever. It's just very, like, it just doesn't hit for me. At all. It doesn't hit for me. It's like the other side is so much worse. I just see this and I'm like, I don't care. The other side of this is so much worse right now. On both parts. On the Israel part and on the communism part. No, that can't, it doesn't apply to anything. It doesn't apply to anything. What? If one side, like, the genocide claim seems legit now, right? I feel like when you've, what is it? Have they destroyed every school in Gaza? Have they destroyed pretty much every hospital? Or I believe they've damaged every hospital in Gaza. Like, vital infrastructure completely wiped out. The whole place just endless rubble. Take years to fully clear. And you're like, But, you know, there was this terrorist attack where, you know, like 100 Israelis died or whatever it was. A year and a half ago, 2 years, approaching 2 years ago. Like, I get, it's like 9/11 all over again, man. It really is. It's like, yeah, 9/11 was bad, but, you know, a lot worse shit happened since. $3,000? Did I get the number totally wrong? It's been so long since I looked at anything about 10.7. Israeli death total. 1,000, not 100, 1,000, sorry. 1,100. 695 Israeli civilians, 71 foreign nationals, and 373 security forces. What's the death toll estimate for Gaza? Did they get adequate revenge, do you think? Like, yeah, Biden specifically told Netanyahu after 10/7, we fucked up after 9/11, don't do the same thing. And then they went and immediately did the exact same thing.
Due to happen on Wednesday. He also spoke to our nanny, our housekeeper. He's called the pediatrician that takes care of the kids. He talked to them. Pretty much sifted through every angle of our life having to do with our kids. And an extremely violating...
So anyway, yeah. So I totally... Anyway, my point there was basically... I understand Ethan wants to defend himself, and I agree with Ethan defending himself. But I think the broader political points and shit like that like need to probably be left by the wayside. And acting like all the Palestinian activists are just like totally fucking crazy probably isn't the play right now. I'm going to be real. It's one of those things where I think if at this point...
You can't launch an attack from Gaza if there's no Gaza to launch an attack from.
Waiting for the $4.20.
Ship out if you don't have the stomach for real politics.
Okay.
Flower child.
All right, man. So I think look, I just get the vibe that history will not look back fondly on multi-million sub YouTubers who are still kind of like not pro-Israel, but playing that side of the argument almost at this point in the timeline. I think that's probably the wrong move at the moment. We're probably past that point.
Insulting, unbelievable way. Just a complete breach of privacy and inhumanity that it's like you can't believe that you, as somebody who has done nothing wrong, has taken care of your kids, to be subject to this.
It's not about revenge, it's about security. Yeah, I agree. In principle, it should have been about security. And I agree security would be a good justification. And that's why I supported the initial invasion, right? That's what we call it, isn't it? It's a fire invasion, I think. That's why I supported it initially, because there is a security concern. They should be able to secure their interests and stop themselves getting fucking killed by a hostile, like, terrorist controlled population next door. Obviously, I agree with that. But it didn't stop there, did it? I think anyone, like, after, and they've totally ignored international bodies too. Like, they're just totally flouting everything at this point. Like, no one is holding them to any account. The ICJ is just completely impotent right now. It's just... everything is failing around it. They've clearly gone too far. That is just obvious to anyone with an awareness of the past year and a half. And there's no one stopping it. There's no one stopping it.
Forcible investigation.
Yeah, sorry. I'm forgetting what the rules are. Israel bombs you. You do nothing.
Because of some fucking freaks online called anonymously to say that...
Yeah, while there's... Yeah, and then there's the whole raping prisoners of war thing. Like, I mean, dude.
Kids are crawling around in shit. The immediate question for me was, who did this, and how am I going to hold them accountable? It didn't take me long to catch the trail of the obvious suspect, which is the work of a subreddit dedicated to harassing me, my family, my coworkers, and their families too, frankly.
Netanyahu walks up to a table. What do you do? Well, I obviously I would pull the seat out from the table, I would gesture to him and make sure he knows that I'm pulling the seat out for him. Wait for him to sit down, and I would tuck the seat in behind him.
Known as
I might even kiss him on the back of the head.
Snark. H3 Snark is the place that they originated. If you don't know what Snark is, it's this growing phenomenon of communities dedicated essentially to destroy someone's life, picking it apart, harassing them, and just trying to ruin their life. It's something that's become quite common on the internet, and something that Reddit, who is the main host of such activities, has completely turned a blind eye to. Take, for example, right here, H3H3_, which is the new Snark page. The top post on this page is from somebody named BadEmpanada, which we'll learn more about. It says, BadEmpanada with another banger. Quote,
dude, why are you talking? It's kind of sick to name your dog Shredder. A character is an obvious metaphor for Trump and fascism.
I've ever seen.
Thanks, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Said house slave Abdullah Ayad to the Kleins after CPS visited them because their kids contracted parasites from
dude, you're called Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, and your profile picture is fucking reptile. Dude, what is going on?
Feces. The Kleins frequently advocate for genocide of Arabs while Ayad sits obediently in silence. He is a tame domestic animal. This is just literally, anyone of a normal disposition can see plainly how fucking insane this is. It has 400 upvotes after 3 hours. It's a very active sub of absolutely deranged individuals. The problem is that this subreddit, this community, is being legitimized by creators such as Hassan, such as Denims, such as Mike from PA, and all these leftist commentators who think they can get one up on me by sicking and participating and legitimizing the most crazed psychopaths on the internet.
I bring this to YouTube because I respect the H3 Snark and I believe that they're being silenced. And I saw on the H3 Snark that Ethan had uploaded Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says...
Like, so this is a segment I saw. This is the part I mean. Adam McIntyre, obviously, easily, this guy sucks. This is retarded.
The most crazed psychopaths on the internet.
I bring this to YouTube because I respect the H3 Snark, and I believe that they're being silenced. And I saw on the H3 Snark that Ethan had uploaded Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says...
And it's about the H3 Snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it.
Why do I hate Adam? Because he's a disgusting reptile, clout-chasing fucking loser, first of all. Second of all, because he totally embellished the Colleen Ballinger story. Honestly, I think probably if the Colleen Ballinger story was accurately represented, I don't think she would be anywhere near as cancelled as she is. Because she wasn't. People think she was like straight fucking kids. Yeah, I hated Colleen too. I hated Miranda Sings and all that shit. It was fucking awful. I hated all the fucking annoying girls in fucking secondary school that liked that shit and thought it was funny. It drove me fucking insane. I hated them. So I hate Colleen Ballinger too, but they like totally embellished and misrepresented. Like they were acting like she was basically full on grooming. It was totally absurd. And he is just a wretched clout chasing freak. Like he had Jake Weddle on his podcast and shit like that. Anyone that's Jake Weddle on their podcast is not okay in my book.
On the H3 Snark that Ethan had uploaded...
Wait, who are you talking about? On today's episode, he said he met this really cool streamer named Stardust. I almost died laughing. About who? Who is that said that? What?
Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says...
And it's about the H3 Snark subreddit. For more
Ethan. Dude.
Year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
Because I believe these snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. It's just...
I guess it's fine as long as it's not the Destiny subreddit.
I think it's time to hold all...
That's how you look, why is Hassan, poor, sweet, innocent man, being attacked for that comment? That's a fine thing to say. That's totally fine. For how long? For how long have DGG pushed the bullshit brothel claim. The idea that Hassan visited a brothel that was busted for underage sex trafficking, for child sex trafficking. That has been peddled against Hassan non-stop. Ethan's sitting there saying, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids. Yeah, Hassan's been getting called a fucking pedophile. Dude. What does that have to do with Ethan? Well, Ethan is a huge fan of the Destiny subreddit. That's what it has to do with Ethan. He's been seen browsing it many times. He uses content from there. He's been seen using content from it many times. That's what it's got to do with Ethan.
All of them accountable. Here, for example, is Denims, aka Hassan Waiting Room, watching BadEmpanada talk about the state of our house and how we take care of our kids. Let's take a look.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for
Dude, it's crazy that you're probably, if I don't explain it to you, you'll never realize how fucking retarded you are for typing this message. I'm not gonna.
Different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have
a housekeeper
anymore.
That sucks for you, man.
He lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something. But they contracted a parasite that I had previously never.
Self-awareness. Complaining about his family being dragged in, but a week ago he sent his fans after the family members of a rando on Insta.
Thank you for the £5. Thank you. Well, I mean, it's just like the endless justification. This is what happens in every internet like blood feud, basically. Is every action each side takes is, I mean, this is like Israel-Palestine as well, to be fair. Every action each side takes is justified by some previous indiscretion by the other side. Right? Pretty much every time. And they just endlessly escalate. Nice Destinyism. How's that Destinyism? This is just like Israel-Palestine when you think about it. Except Ethan's Palestine. You know. Thank you for the $5.
I'm not asking my escort for ID. If him clapping kinder buns, that's gonna be a problem with the provider. Free Hassan.
Okay, thank you for the $5, Jimberly.
I've heard of it in my life, called Giardia. From the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been...
Okay, what are you even fucking saying? So you've walked off that initial point. Let's just acknowledge that you totally walked off that first question you asked. Does it encourage the things Ethan is talking about, or is calling Hassan a PDF the only thing kimmed of different? What do you mean, does it encourage the things Hassan's talking about, Ethan's talking about? Yeah, Destiny's subreddit and Destiny's community at large absolutely encourage doxing, you know, using authorities against people. Yeah, they do encourage that. That is a common, right to the top of the community. Doxing is not just allowed, but employed.
And up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have mold Mondays. Now we have shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when...
Yeah, you're like barely comprehensible, Brandon Chandler. Figure out how to speak English and then come back.
Infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be a-okay. No problem. A child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
Now, at this point, as he continues, notice the chat is almost in complete universal agreement. Call CPS. Call child endangerment. CPS, social services, bro.
Can you ever debate without insults? This isn't a debate. This is responding to chatter, and I didn't insult you. I said I didn't understand what you were saying, and you should probably learn to speak English, because every single one of your messages has been barely comprehensible. I've had to struggle through them just to figure them out.
Needs to unironically call CPS. That's child endangerment. Okay, if his kids have Giardia, they need to be taken away. Actual worst father ever, etc., etc. I'll let the chat play for you, but you can see just how crazed this community is. And once again, this is Denims' chat from the 1st. The call came on the 3rd.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit. And his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to some.
I don't care if I insulted you. I don't care if I insulted you. I literally don't care. My point was that I wasn't making insults in place of points. I don't care about insulting you. You are worthless.
Science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that he said, everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew, playing.
So I mean, we seem to be missing out Ethan's original statement here. We seem to be totally missing out the original statement, where Ethan says that the only way you can get this disease is by eating shit. I feel like that's a core part of this, is that Ethan's own public statements are what led to this. He said, the whole family's got Yardia. The only way to get it is eating shit. Now, I agree. If you're going to call CPS, the least you should do is figure out if that's actually true. And probably engage critical thinking a little bit and consider, wow, does he mean literally just crawling around, eating shit off the floor? Or does he maybe mean that because the dog's got diarrhea, there's been some, like, fucking, you know, something's gotten somewhere and got transferred from one service to another, or transferred someone's hand, or haven't washed their hand or whatever, and then it's spread. Like, obviously that's a bit more likely. Obviously that sort of thing is a bit more likely than crawling around and actually eating shit, right? It's probably not the case when Ethan's got nannies, when he's a rich guy with nannies, that his house is a total mess. It's very unlikely, really, isn't it? Probably not the case.
No wonder this motherfucker's always sick. Yeah. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
By the way, these people can't keep their talking points straight. On one hand, it's we don't raise our kids and our house is just run by nannies and housekeepers. But on the other hand, we also keep our house so dirty that there's dog shit everywhere. I mean, what are the housekeepers and nannies doing?
It all makes sense now. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening? How is it happening? How is this happening?
I have a 10-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. We've yet to see any proof this was done by an online person, by the way. Ethan said CPS told him, if somebody knows them, but they wouldn't say who. I haven't heard that claim yet from Ethan, but we have not seen any evidence really that it was an online person, any proof it was an online person. You can just point to it being like, oh, call CPS, call CPS, call CPS. But you can't point to anyone specific or any specific community.
Who are in school. Of course I'm sick all the time. Once again, these childless people pretend that this is uncommon when, of course, anybody with any sense.
Cheddar Goblin, please rewind the stream and figure out what's actually been spoken about, because you're clearly lost. No one is saying that it isn't someone from these communities. Simply that the arguments are the same as the careful situation. You can't blame these communities without having solid evidence. Typically, you want coordination. You want coordination.
Who's being honest. The thing is, these people are knowingly lying. They know that they're lying. It makes no sense what they're saying, but they do it anyway. Because, as you can see in the chat, and Denims endorses this.
You're just totally wrong, Poetry. Why say retarded shit like this? Retarded fucking idiot. Why say shit like this? It drives me crazy. Correcting me. Idiot. Though in Keffel's case, they knew KF wasn't behind the swatting. It was Doxbin. Doxing. Doxing, you mean. Behind the doxing. The swatting, I believe, was Tor Swats. That's almost definitely true. It was Tor Swats. Same guy that swatted Marjorie Taylor Greene the next week. Same guy that was doing it for ages has now been sent to prison. I think that's the most reasonable explanation, is that it was Tor Swats who did the swatting. Not a KF user. Actually someone that would go after a lot of people even KF liked. He literally was like, would false flag against KF. And they all fucking hated him. So it turned out it was a completely separate thing. So
clearly, as you can see, she's not moderating this at all. And it's pretty much 100% of the comments saying call CPS on them. Their kids should be taken away.
But in the Careful's case, the swatting was claimed. The email, there was an email sent that claimed credit to Kiwi Farms. It was probably from Tor Swats claiming credit to Kiwi Farms, going Kiwi Farms behind it, whatever. I'm pretty sure. Same with the MTG case, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So there was more reason to believe it was a specific community than in Ethan's case, to be honest. Like, it's just the idea that you blame a community and call for the complete eradication of the internet on such shaky evidence is just so dumb when we've been through this before. Obviously, I'm fine with it being, again, for other reasons, for other things the subreddit's done, fine with it being banned from Reddit. It's breaking Reddit's TOS and other subreddits get banned for less. But pinning the CPS claim on Snark so hard is just like so retarded. And trying to tie all these streamers in as being approving of Snark is just like the same KF brain rot that Keffels was engaging in.
That she believes that it's justified to break up our family. This disgusting fucking human being who's endorsed by Hassan and the entire left community on Twitch, who is protected and elevated by Twitch, is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services. Denims is such an evil person. She is not responsible enough to have a platform. She should not be allowed to broadcast videos ever again. Now you might wonder, what is it they're referring to? On the podcast, I was telling a story about we adopted a new dog about a month ago, and she was having diarrhea.
I don't think Hassan is approving of the Snark subreddit. No, he just said that Ethan was being a hypocrite. That Ethan uses these, you know, same types of resources. That's what he was saying.
Which ended up being a extremely common stomach parasite that causes diarrhea. It's extremely common, and it's very easy to address. In fact, Ducky, our Yorkie, when we got him as a puppy, also had Giardia, and we treated him the same way. Let's see what I said about it. That Olive has Giardia, which is a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this, yeah. She came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea. And
oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. So she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that.
To be clear, it's not entirely guilt by association, right? Because there is a difference between like being associated with someone and like fully endorsing them. Like Hassan will get on and say like, "Oh yeah, I freaking love Hakeem and Second Thought and Denims and fucking whoever else, you know, whatever other psychos. I love Sean the Black." You know, he'll get on and say that, but it's just still not a very strong claim. It's not quite guilt by association with those. But the idea that you say that Hassan, like, pointing out your hypocrisy is him legitimizing Snark, that's like retarded. That's like so stupid. Or just because he's not going after this fucking subreddit that you wouldn't go after if the shoe was on the other foot.
Age, he has Giardia. Again, any reasonable person or parent understands that having a 10-month-old that is just learning to crawl, is crawling around everywhere, putting everything in his mouth. I mean, these kids will literally just lick the floor, put anything in the world in their mouth, and that's completely normal. That's what having a toddler is like. Olive is a black Labrador.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just playing BadEmpanada videos uncritically. Yeah, there's plenty of things you can say about Hassan that aren't guilt by association, you know? Like,
a lot. She's inside, she's outside, she's very clean, but the point I'm making, again, which all reasonable people understand, is that Giardia can actually be spread just from a surface. So if her bum ends up on the floor, or she sheds some hair, or she sat on a toy, you know, it could be a number of different things. If Sonny's crawling around putting everything in his mouth, it seems like a pretty reasonable suspect. If he's having diarrhea, we're like, oh man, maybe he got Giardia from Olive, which is actually commonplace to happen. And despite what Denims says, it is not certain death. It's actually completely normal to happen, and it's very easy to treat. Now, spoiler alert, it actually turns out when we got all of the poop tests back that he never had Giardia even, which I announced on the show, which they conveniently forget. So the only person that ever even had Giardia was Olive. So Sonny was having diarrhea essentially, and that was and that's why they called CPS, because my 10-month-old baby who's just starting to eat solid food had diarrhea. That's why these people think it's justified to send an agent of one of the most overworked, underfunded, underappreciated community service workers in the entire fucking world to come and waste their time because my son had a diarrhea. When in the city of Los Angeles, there are kids and families that absolutely need help from people like this, and this guy's wasting his fucking time coming to my house and doing an investigation on my kids because my 10-month-old baby had diarrhea. By the way, BadEmpanada was recently banned for 7 days for playing a video game in which you roleplay as Hamas on October 7th, and he went to a military compound in that game and said he was, quote, looking for secretaries to kill. He was looking for Ela, who was a secretary in the IDF.
You know, I understand. Again, calling CPS is wrong, okay? But none of this happens if you don't go into detail speculating about what obscure disease your family could all have that's causing them severe diarrhea. You know? Like, don't get on stream and say, my family have this horrendous disease that you can only get from eating shit. Like, it totally fuels that kind of speculation. And yeah, if that type of speculation starts, yeah, once that speculation starts, it's not unlikely that someone calls CPS because they believe it, right? When his first kid was born, he would say that there won't even be pics of his kids online. Did he even say that? What do you mean did he even say that? Say what? That his family all had this disease that you can only get from eating shit. Yeah, he did say that. Well, no, Ethan was speculating. They hadn't confirmed that that was the disease they had, the Giardia or whatever. They hadn't confirmed that. I think it wasn't even that in the end. So Ethan was actually speculating about what disease was giving his family diarrhea on his live stream. People believed it. And fucking went with it. Like, he just said it wasn't that. What part? Michelle, do you understand how time works? Do you know time moves in a constant linear fashion? Are you aware of this? One event happens, and then another event happens, and then another event happens, and one of those events can't be moved back to the start. Okay? So Ethan said on his stream it was Giardia, and then later on, in this video, he said it actually wasn't. Are you following? Do you see how that works? So Ethan says it is that. No, you are retarded. You're not listening to what's being said at Kid AE. What you are being very retarded here. He said his family have this disease, and you only get this disease from eating shit. That's what he said. He didn't say, my family ate shit, my kid ate shit. He said, I think they've got Giardia. It's some disease you only get from eating shit. Let's run it back. Where was the clip? Does it have a full clip here?
And Olive has this?
Olive has substance that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this, yeah. She came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea, and
oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. So she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic. But
where's the full
we
clip?
had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age.
Oh, yeah.
He has Giardia. Again, any reasonable person or parent understands that having a
Where's the full clip? I saw it on Loner Box earlier. I was watching Loner Box briefly. It's this, yeah, this one.
podcasts have never
but letting this
are in constant contact from one of the and siphon views. Reddit has dozens and dozens of legitimate DMCA requests outright. Now, how the DMCA, in my opinion, cover up ban.
What's the next step with?
Okay, so now because I have caca breath, and they don't think it's like a big contributor to my issues, but it could explain some of the ongoing stomach issues I've had with like the these like infrequent, like semi-annual sulfuric digestion I've talked about.
Yeah.
So I have to take 2 antibiotics, once 3 times a day, the other 2 times a day for fucking 2 weeks straight. What? The one I have to take 3 times a day is the biggest pill I've ever seen in my life.
Oh shit.
And one of them cost $2,000.
What?
Well, one of them was like, your insurance hasn't approved it yet. And I said, well, how much is it? I'll just pay for it out of pocket. She says $2,000. I was like, no,
for the bottle. Okay.
For the 14-day regimen.
Brandon Chandler, you were asking questions that are just totally irrelevant to me. Yeah, I agree. BadEmpanada embellished the claims, and I agree. Whoever called CPS shouldn't have done it. That's not what's up for contention right now. I don't know what the fuck who the fuck you think you're arguing with right now.
But I got it improved.
Like, literally, who are you
now
talking to?
It still costs $250.
That's still expensive. Crazy. Yeah.
2,000? Yeah. So anyway, I got those. Now I'm on all this fucking Sudafed shit. Oh yeah, my doctor who's trying to fix my cough also put me on an antibiotic in case it's some post-viral infection.
Are they talking to each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're not. I don't know if they're necessarily talking, but they know what
they're aware of what the other prescribed.
I'm just pointing out how terrible BadEmpanada is. Is that allowed, Kuihman? No, not when it's not relevant. So I'm going to ban you from
Complaining
the chat.
about
Clearly,
chronic
you literally
stomach
cannot
problems
engage.
is so incredibly Jewish. I feel like I'm watching
You
Curb Your
literally cannot
Enthusiasm
engage.
with no
Baffling.
jokes.
You cannot follow a topic. You cannot just sit on one topic and talk about that. You have to bring up something else. You've got some pet issue with some gay YouTuber that I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about BadEmpanada. No interest in BadEmpanada. I'm sure he sucks. I only ever heard bad things about him. I'm sure he blows. Don't give a fuck. BadEmpanada, bad actually, isn't an interesting thing to contribute to chat. Just leave. Go somewhere else.
Okay, that's good.
Ethan.
Shut the fuck up, Doolittle.
H3 is being a little bitch again.
Oh.
So that's only one part of it. The next part is
what's the next?
That Olive has giardia, which is a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this. Yeah, she came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea, and
oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too, and I just wonder why.
It's relatively common.
It should be. They should have found it already. But anyway, so she has giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today, and well, Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
Oh shit.
Oh,
and
no.
now Ela has giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
Jeez, what can I do to not get it?
Yeah, I'm trying
because I'm not trying to get
No,
it.
even if you ran with this, wouldn't
ridiculous to get. It's you have
and Ela were eating shit as well. Like
maybe
it's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop.
There you go. And there you go. You have to ingest my poop. So please, all the fucking retards that were saying in chat a moment ago, Ethan Klein never said that you have to eat shit to get it. He literally says right there, you would have to ingest my poop. That's what he says.
Maybe
it's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop. Are you planning on that?
Never.
Not really.
So then you're fine.
But unfortunately,
he said that. But then if you're saying this and you're like, okay, this
now,
is
Lonabox can make the obvious point that blah, blah, blah. Yeah, obviously someone should check the info on that and make sure that's actually true before they go and call CPS. Yeah, obviously everyone agrees. But Ethan has created the conditions for this. Don't share a bunch of fucking insane information about how ill your kids are if you don't want fucking people speculating about it. Yeah, that's how the internet works. You know how the internet works.
10-month-old that is just learning to crawl is crawling around.
What did he say about Sonny crawling around, Missy Elliott? What did he say? He said, Sonny's crawling around and putting things in his mouth. And then goes on to say, you would have to ingest my poop. Why are you pretending that that wasn't so bad for Ethan? That wasn't such a bad presentation to give. Don't talk about your kids in this kind of retarded way, in your about your family in this kind of retarded, oversharing way, if you're going to get this upset about this kind of stuff. Doesn't mean it's right to call CPS at all. But But the constant fucking breakdown is crazy. Acting like he's like this beautiful, perfect victim. Everyone pretending he's like this beautiful, perfect victim. Any other situation, everyone would say it's insane to give inaccurate medical information about your fucking kids. Don't talk about your kids having crazy diseases you're not sure they have on the live stream. Yeah, that's an easy way to get CPS called on you. If you go online and say, my kid has a disease that you would have to eat my shit to get, there's a good chance you will get CPS called on you. So probably don't do that. Maybe just say, oh yeah, my kid's sick at the moment. Maybe wait till it's over. Maybe wait till it's done and you know what the disease is, and then talk about it. Say you thought it was Giardia at first, and you were worried because, like, what if they've been eating shit? Make that joke. But no, you had to share it the moment it happened. You had to give this retarded opinion about it, retardedly speculate about what disease it was, make a retarded statement about how you get that disease, and then a bad thing happens, and you're a beautiful, perfect victim. It's really dumb. It's really dumb.
Ethan 2988.
Thank you for those don't know. Okay, saying shit like it's not common to call CPS on strangers like super taboo, I feel like. Yeah, it's super taboo to call CPS on people. No shit. Yeah, we all agree with that. You shouldn't do it. It's crazy. But when you're doing a live stream to tens of thousands of people, maybe don't make statements like, my kid has a disease you can only get from eating shit and has been crawling around on the floor all day where my dog's been shitting. Dude, and this is just like an insane take as well. The thing is, the bad thing wouldn't have happened if he didn't beef with Hassan. That you don't even know what's going on, man. You literally don't even know what's going on. The Snark subreddit existed without Hassan. Hated Ethan without Hassan. They hated Trisha at first and they moved on to Ethan. Like, you're just so lost. You people are so lost. You are so desperate. So desperate for anything you can get against Hassan. And it's just because he's rich and more attractive than you. That's why it is. I can see into your psychology. I think he's a complete fucking retard terrorist supporter. I do. I think that about Hassan. I think he has supported terrorists. I think he's played terrorist propaganda basically uncritically. I think he should be held accountable for that. But some of you are literally so transparently just desperate to hate this guy because he's like over 6 foot, hot, popular, rich, and seen as intelligent on politics, which you wish was the case about you too. That's unfortunately the truth. And he gets pussy daily, yeah. And you will just shoehorn him into anything. Some random nobody calls CPS on Ethan, and it's Hassan's fault. Still peddling the brothel story fucking years later. Like, it's crazy. Some of the things you people will say, it's just absurd. When Hassan is just a poor, sweet, innocent man who's never done anything wrong.
Everywhere, putting everything in his mouth. I mean, these kids will literally just lick the floor, put anything in the world in their mouth, and that's completely normal. That's what having a toddler is like. Olive is a black Labrador. She sheds a lot. She's inside. She's outside. She's very clean. But the point I'm making, again, which all reasonable people understand, is that Giardia can actually be spread just from a surface. So if her bum ends up on the floor, or she sheds some hair, or she sat on a toy, you know, it could be a number of different things. If Sonny's crawling around putting everything in his mouth, it seems like a pretty reasonable suspect. If he's having diarrhea, we're like, oh man, maybe he got Giardia from Olive, which is actually commonplace to happen. And despite what Denims says, it is not certain death. It's actually completely normal to happen.
I heard he was at the brothel to save the women. Let them know they didn't have to live that way.
And it's very easy to treat.
Someone actually had a Jesus and is it Mary Magdalene or something? I don't remember the Bible whore. He had like that relationship with one of the prostitutes there. He was trying to, he was talking her out of it. He was showing her that there are ways to alleviate to alleviate the pressures of capitalism without selling your body into the sex industry.
Now, spoiler alert, it actually turns out when we got all of the poop tests back that he never had Giardia even, which I announced on the show, which they conveniently forget. So the only person that ever even had Giardia was Olive. So Sonny was having diarrhea essentially, and that was and that's why they called CPS, because my 10-month-old baby who's just starting to eat solid food had diarrhea. That's why these people think it's justified to send an agent of one of the most overworked, underfunded, underappreciated community service workers in the entire fucking world to come and waste their time because my son had a diarrhea. When in the city of Los Angeles, there are kids and families that absolutely need help from people like this.
Okay, I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to accept it, okay? I am willing to take, I'll sit back. I'll say, fine, Ethan, you're saying it's not Giardia. You're saying it was only Giardia in the dog. Okay? Fine, I'll accept it. Well, why did you all have diarrhea then? I'm a bit confused. Like, it was only Giardia in the dog, but you all had diarrhea, and I'm supposed to... That's just true, I guess? We just all accept that's true? Okay.
And this guy's wasting his fucking time coming to my house and doing an investigation on my kids because my 10-month-old baby had diarrhea. By the way, BadEmpanada was recently banned for 7 days for playing a video game in which you roleplay as Hamas on October 7th, and he went to a military compound in that game and said he was, quote, looking for secretaries to kill. He was looking for Ela, who was a secretary in the IDF, to murder her in a game where you play Hamas. This is the type of person that is being elevated.
I'd like to pay...
Why use clips like this? I'm on board to hate BadEmpanada. Why use clips like this? This is like a funny thing. Ethan said Ben Shapiro should be first in the chambers. Ethan said someone should bomb an NRA Ethan said these things. Yet when BadEmpanada says I'm looking for secretaries in this Hamas game, it's a big fucking problem. I'm sorry, I think all of these things are a little bit funny. I think these are all a little bit funny. I disavow them terribly. I don't think you should do this. I disavow them, of course. Terrible, terrible stuff. Especially not for YouTube or Twitch. I think I would be against TOS. But if you're trying to make me repulsed by this guy, this is the wrong tact. As someone who was an Ethan fan, as someone who was a big Ethan fan, this is a terrible tact. I liked things Ethan said. I liked all of his edgy statements back in the day when he was funny. So, as someone that's willing to hear him out here, as someone who used to like Ethan, this is the wrong approach.
Tribute to Ethan Klein and the new Twitch TOS that declares Zionism. Zion is the slur. I'd like to pay tribute to him by playing the first in Al-Aqsa video game where you kill Zionist soldiers as a Palestinian resistance fighter. Anyways, are these Israelis? They're just standing there? I mean, is the Israeli army a bunch of Ethan Kleins? Like, they're all on a fucking Ozempic binge? They don't understand what's going on around them? They haven't noticed me? How do I win? What's my objective? I don't actually know. Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now. Secretary got on behalf of
it's like there's that Nick Fuentes clip where he's chasing that like Jewish NPC down in the street and he's like shouting Ben Shapiro and like pretending he's shooting Ben Shapiro and gunning him down in the street. Like there's so many funny clips like this and funny moments like that. This doesn't get me upset. This doesn't get me upset at all.
I give this game my seal of approval.
Here's BadEmpanada once again, who posted a story saying, "I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein. I want CPS to take his kids away because they are seriously in danger." This is, once again, BadEmpanada, who's being elevated by Hassan.
So, I mean, like, that could be true. Obviously, if he did, that's terrible. That's a good reason to hate him. I get the feeling he didn't actually do this and he's just saying this to kind of fuck with Ethan. I think Ethan even knows that. I don't think Ethan's even claiming he was the actual one that was doing it.
BadEmpanada, who's being elevated by Hassan, Matt Lieb, Denims, and tons of creators, leftist creators all over the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone else, please welcome BadEmpanada.
BadEmpanada's been going crazy at Ethan on the second channel. Well, yeah, because Ethan Klein is too afraid to talk to BadEmpanada or talk about BadEmpanada or watch any of his videos. So fucking milk that guy, dude. Hell yeah, BadEmpanada, go in.
Can we just like,
This dude, BadEmpanada, I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's like actually psychotic, and he's been making a lot of hate videos about me and calling Ela a terrorist and baby killer and all.
Dude, every time Ethan Klein brings up BadEmpanada, I like him a little bit more. That's the truth. I didn't really have strong opinions on him, and every time he brings him up, I'm like, stop making him sound base, man. Come on.
Okay.
Stop.
BadEmpanada has put out a video about H3H3, and this is just for
I mean, she's got a point there. She kind of has a point there. If the rest of the clips that Ethan uses are like that one.
In my next dono I'm gonna drop a hard R. By Ig1. I do it to show Kuihman that I'm not impressed with his stream, that he will not scare me ever.
Thank you for the $5, Jimberly. Thank you.
own pleasure that we're going to watch it. Because whenever BadEmpanada attacks H3H3, H3H3 has like a mental breakdown. And every time I watch this, it causes them to have even more of a mental breakdown.
On this Turk versus moron, he made a fucking Willie Mac show. Slob YouTube Willie Mac show made a video covering the Gaza genocide because he noticed that putting Hassan's name in the title gets him more views than usual. It went about as well as you'd expect. Oh, dude. Okay. Okay. Critical support to BadEmpanada has gone up by wide margins now. Okay. Oh, this is on the BadEmpanada live channel. He didn't put this on the normal channel. Oh, my Lord. Oh, dude. BadEmpanada went from bad to good empanada. BadEmpanada went from BadEmpanada to based empanada.
Yeah, obviously it is totally gross. It's kind of gross for Hassan to like totally co-sign BadEmpanada and shit. He is, from everything I've heard, I don't know a whole lot, but from everything I've heard, he seems pretty fucked up. So I think just like co-signing this guy so crazy, it is just like fucked. I agree with Ethan on that.
Now, trust me, I would pursue legal action against BadEmpanada, whose MO is essentially defamation. He actually fled to Argentina like his Nazi predecessors, and unfortunately, it is very difficult to get to and sue people in Argentina. So enjoy the community of Nazi refugees. You will fit right in there, my friend. But don't worry, guys. Denims says, even if this did happen, it's nothing to worry about because children actually don't remember anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That, again, like, don't say... okay, I understand the point. He should make this point in a better way, though, because saying... Like, the idea of, like, you know, fleeing to Argentina so you can talk crazy shit online and never be held accountable for it, that's just kind of awesome. There's an awesome element to that. But I understand the frustration in dealing with that. Like, the idea that traditional legal means just don't work against a person. It is fucked. It's a fucked situation to be in.
Isn't that fucking awesome? Look at this. It might be the dumbest, most pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life. Here's Denims.
On the floor. And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions.
Also,
And
guys, now is a great time, actually, to talk to you about liking the stream, first of all. 100 people have done that, which means that there's like 320 who haven't. So it's important that you move your cursor, thumbs up, and click it, or press the thumbs up on your mobile device. That would be hugely appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, you can donate directly through the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can also buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships to the channel randomly throughout the chat. Buy a super chat, which will highlight a message and read out on TTS. Or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or GIF that will be highlighted in chat, and I'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you. Now, guys, one extra thing to mention to you guys. Kuihman. This is the second channel. Important stuff happening here. Very important you go to Kuihman and go and subscribe there. Would be hugely appreciated.
Because you're not fucking doing that.
No,
I mean, we
that's-
both were like, that's not happening. You're not going.
Terrifying.
You are not doing that. So he agreed to come visit our
Come back
house
next week.
when the kids are at home because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him.
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old.
Okay, is that even true? I don't think that's even true, is it? You're not forming memories at 3. I don't think that's true at all. You can form memories at 3 years old. Is this just fucking retarded? This bitch is just dumb. I remember being 4. Yeah. You start, you start forming around like 3, I feel like. Yeah, that makes total, like, dude, this bitch is so dumb. Why would you, okay, dude.
Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not.
Dude, this bitch is
When
dumb.
we're talking
This
about
bitch dumb as
being
hell.
able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or
4 is a cutoff, and you won't remember them past 15. What is this bitch talking about?
2 memories. Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. There's a wide variation across about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
You literally just read out of your mouth that the average adult starts forming memories at 3. What is happening? What universe do we exist in where this is a popular creator? One more time, guys, because it's absolutely fucking unreal. One more time, guys.
There's
Okay,
a wide
if you just, Ethan, just make 100 videos about why Denims is a stupid bitch. Just make 100 videos about why Denims is a stupid bitch, okay? Just do that, buddy.
variation across about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3. And it's pretty rare to be forming memories or like memories that you will keep like at 5.
How exactly am I supposed to get through to a person and convince her wrong when she's literally disproving herself on her own stream and then ignoring what just came out of her mouth 5 seconds earlier? Her defense for sending the CPS to break up our family and to interrogate our 3- and 5-year-old is that, don't worry, kids don't remember stuff, which just also, besides being pathetically sociopathically insane not to care about the well-being of kids, just demonstrably false. Everybody knows that the most formative years of a child's life is around that age of 4, 5, 6, 7, when kids really take in their environment and develop who they become as people. Pretending as if interrogating my 3- and 5-year-old sons couldn't possibly cause
A lot of unthoughtful people in chat who don't realize their memories of being 2 to 4 were certainly based on watching videos of their life when they were older. I mean, there's some truth to that, especially about like visual elements, I think. But like, I'm pretty sure events and feelings you're gonna remember from the time, especially if it's a significant or traumatic event, right? If CPS come to your school, if you've not got videos of your school, you don't remember what your school looks like clearly, you know, have things that you know of school, then you might not be able to quite form the memory as like a linear like movie in your head, if you know what I mean. But you will remember the feelings and you'll remember that the thing happened and it will leave an imprint. But yeah, absolutely. Stuff like visual elements, stuff like that are gonna that's gonna be filled in from photos and videos and stuff like that you've seen.
any damage because they can't remember is the most insane, monstrous thing I could even imagine somebody to say about this. And it's just, beyond being insanely dumb, it's just callous, pathetic, and, well, really speaks for itself. It's the dumbest thing I think I have ever heard. Now, moving to Reddit, this whole theme of needing to call CPS on my kids is something that takes place on Reddit, originally from a subreddit called H3 Snark. On this subreddit, they have doxed us, harassed our employees, our Teddy Fresh employees who are not even related to the show, gone after crew members' parents, my parents, basically every conceivable way that you can be harassed, these people have done it. Actually, the subreddit was closed indeed. However, not by Reddit. According to Reddit, this subreddit is still fully open and operational and is committing breaking no rules. What actually happened is that somebody within their community started informing on them, and we have these screenshots, which I have not shown before, but I'll show them to you now. Here, one of the mods is talking about a person named Sturgeon, which is also a co-mod. And here they say, Adi explained to me that Sturgeon had made a fake post. The quote...
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I was muted. I was just responding to someone saying, the trauma argument is dumb. It's going to be a friendly adult asking a 3-year-old questions. So one of them's 5, first of all, so it's slightly older and they know they have more of a concept of what's going on. Also, getting pulled out of class to be interrogated is just going to be fucked for any kid. Like, especially because other kids see it happen and shit. Also, 2 seconds. Yeah, it's at least embarrassing, and that can still be bad, right? I hate to plug this. I don't even know if you can hear me, to be honest. Okay. I'm back.
Ramadan post and had become more and more unhinged. Here the mods are talking about another fellow moderator of theirs and actively covering up the fact.
They're not going to announce the reason to whole class, no, but staff will know that it was CPS and the kid is going to be interrogated about the parenting, right?
That their mod faked a post on the H3 Snarks.
It's not normal to be pulled out of class to be asked about if your parents are letting you eat shit. You know?
Subreddit. What happened was this story got picked up that we were banning people wishing a happy Ramadan. We were removing the posts and banning them. And this whole narrative of me being Islamophobic started to form on their subreddit and getting picked up by shit-tier content creators who don't give a fuck about anything. And we looked through our mod mail. We searched through it to see, well, this post, was it ever made? Because that's certainly not something we would ever do. And sure enough, there's zero record of it. It was completely fabricated. And when we said that it was completely fabricated, surprise, surprise, the person who posted it erased their account and erased the thread and completely disappeared. Yet the rumor continued to persist.
Islamophobic? Nah, you're just heterophobic. Dude, who is this Scorpion from Mortal Kombat chatter? Here, Mr. Gull reference lines and shit. Who is this guy?
On their subreddit. It was never moderated. In fact, it was completely covered up by the mod team of H3 Snark. Here they are. Here's the mods doxing our office. Yes, this is actually a real screenshot. Hi, I know you're on break, so I'll just drop this info here in case you need it in the future. We found the H3 studio and Teddy Fresh actual address. On the right is H3, on the left is TF. Studio listing, here's the link. It's identical to the H3, here's their address. This is fucking insane. These are the mods that write it in the future. We found the H3 studio and Teddy Fresh actual address. On the right is H3, on the left is TF. Studio listing, here's the link. It's identical to the H3, here's their address. This is fucking insane.
But this guy was one of the mods.
This isn't even like
this guy was a H3 Snark mod.
These are the people running the fucking subreddit. These people are knowingly putting us and employees in danger by sharing this address with each other with malicious intent. So once I started
Yeah, I
discussing
mean, that's obviously doxing. I mean, that is doxing. That's obviously fucked up.
that we had an informant in their ranks that was sending me this.
So-
These are identical to the H3. Here,
Who is this to? Is this to who is this being sent to? I know you're on break. Who's on break?
it was completely fabricated. And when we said that it was completely fabricated, surprise, surprise, the person who posted it erased their account and erased the thread and completely disappeared. Yet the rumor continued to persist on their subreddit. It was never moderated. In fact, it was completely covered up by the mod team of H3 Snark. Here they are. Here's the mods doxing our office. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's being said here. So I know you're on break. So this is a mod sending this to other mods. Is that what's being said here? That's not what looks like is going on here. I'm not sure. Sending it to H3. H3 was on break. But wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Wait, so they're saying to H3, hi, I know you're on break, so I'll just drop the info here in case you need it in the future. We found the H3 studio address and that Teddy Fresh actual address. Why would that be to H3? That doesn't make any sense to be to H3. H3 Snark was on break. Queen Snarkers reporting what Snark found. Was it found on Snark? Okay. Yeah, there's not enough information on this screenshot to draw a firm conclusion. But I mean, yeah, if this is happening between mod about what actually happened, but taking it as if it happened, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here really. There's not much context given. But assuming this is being presented accurately, yeah, this is obviously completely fucked behavior. I just don't know what where you go from there. Like, yeah, this is totally fucked behavior. I'm not sure what to say past that. You know, okay, someone was sharing around your address for malicious purposes in private group chats. I'm not sure what prescription is coming off the back of that. What are we evidencing here? I'm not. There's no doubt in my mind that snarkers or KFers or whoever else pass around addresses and doxes and so that's not in contention for me really. I'm sure that happens. So I'm just not really sure what is supposed to be done with this. You know.
This is actually a real screenshot. Hi, I know you're on break, so I'll just drop this info here in case you need it in the future. We found the H3 studio and Teddy Fresh actual address. On the right is H3, on the left is TF. Studio listing, here's the link. It's identical to the H3, here's their address. This is fucking insane. These are the moderators. This isn't even like the community members. These are the people running the fucking subreddit. These people are knowingly putting us and employees in danger by sharing this address with each other with malicious intent. So once I started discussing that we had an informant in their ranks that was sending me this kinds of stuff, surprise, surprise, the moderators deleted their accounts and voluntarily closed the subreddit. Fascinating. After H3 Snark closed down, all the users migrated to another subreddit, H3H3_productions. And if you can believe it, the H3H3_productions subreddit is actually even more insane because there's no active
Why does this
moderator.
guy sniff so much? Because he's got Tourette's.
I encourage you guys just to hop on over to H3H3_productions and just look through it. Read the comments, look through the posts. You're not going to believe what you see there. And if you want to take a walk through memory lane, go over to H3 Snark 2 and see what the posts that are left up there and enjoy.
Yeah, you
just to give you an
insensitive
idea
asshole.
about the CPS thing. Here's an excerpt from the new
Attacking this poor neurotic Jewish man for his tics, asshole.
Snark page, an exchange of great minds. All I know is that the more he's fucked with, the less he pushes Israeli propaganda. Therefore, I can only conclude that it is a good thing and that it must continue. The ethics of it mean absolutely nothing to me. A response? You summarized it pretty much. Now, this is all taking place on Reddit. Active brigading harassment to the actual point of trying to break up our family and call CPS. Has Reddit done anything? Despite us complaining, making noise, reaching out for the past 2 years about this snark community? Worse. I believe, and I will show you why, that Reddit is colluding with, protecting with, the moderators of this snark community. I believe that there's admins that work inside of Reddit that are members of this community and actively protecting it. I will show you my evidence. The first thing is that Hila works with a management company who has a connection to Reddit community managers. We first went through them, an official channel, to say, hey, this snark is out of control. They're harassing us all. They're definitely violating your site rules. Can you look into it? A day later, guess what? The snark page was permanently closed. Hooray, we said. That was awesome. All we needed was one person to take a look at it, and obviously it wasn't compliant with the rules. Well, 3 days later, the snark page was reinstated fully, and they made this post to celebrate. H3 mod announcement. We're back after a much-needed break. We are just a group of volunteers, and we appreciate your patience. Our relationship with Reddit is currently better than ever, and we're in good communication with the admins. Now that to me stood out
okay,
quite
so
tremendously.
this is where I probably do agree with Ethan a lot. Obviously, this subreddit, by the standards of Reddit, should not be on Reddit, and it's fucking absurd that admins are like working with an A-log subreddit to try and help them figure out like how do you not get banned? How do we keep this mostly above board? Like given the crazy shit that this subreddit, this community is engaged with, it's insane for Reddit to co-sign it. Basically, to get on board with it. Very fucked.
Considering that our subreddit was 600,000 users, the second biggest podcast subreddit on the entire site behind Joe Rogan, has never had contact with admins. They have never reached out to us.
Well, again, I don't think that a lot of the shit that Snark's doing should be illegal. But I do think relegating it to sort of backwater places like KF, that's probably how the internet should be. Like most big platforms probably shouldn't have these pockets of like doxing and crazy shit going on. You know, the main platforms where, you know, your fucking auntie goes on probably shouldn't have that shit happening.
Why is it that the admins are in constant contact with this small niche subreddit dedicated to harassing people, but we, one of the biggest subreddits on the website, have not heard a single word from them ever? When someone created a snark page dedicated to Hassan Piker, it was immediately deleted for harassment. Take a look. The subreddit was banned due to a violation of Reddit's content policy against harassing content. So it's harassing when it happens to Hassan Piker, but it's okay, great behavior when it happens to Ethan Klein. What's with the double standard? What about Trisha?
Well, you see, Hassan is a sweet, pure, innocent man who's never done anything wrong. And you're like a crazy, neurotic freak. You're like an evil, crazy, neurotic freak, Ethan.
It was a huge snark subreddit. It was super active, and these people were, you know, really nasty. Trishy Land was also banned. The reason given is this subreddit has been banned for excessive copyright removals. Now, that's specifically interesting and extremely suspect, considering we've performed dozens of copyright strikes on the snark subreddit. We have removed dozens of posts. All the posts we removed had zero commentary or specifically stated that their intention was to steal and siphon views from our property. Besides being granted dozens of...
Dude, I'm sorry, look. I don't really think there is a ton of lefty anti-Semitism, though. There's some lefty anti-Semitism. I think it's absurd to be crying about lefty anti-Semitism right now when Elon Musk is out there doing fucking Romans. Right wing is just throwing up fucking Romans right now. People saying how much they love Hitler. Like, it's just, I just sit here and I hear people go about lefty anti-Semitism. It's like, dude, what fucking world are you living in right now? What fucking world are you in? You're in a totally different reality to me.
DMCA takedowns, Reddit has actually had the nerve to serve us counter
Yeah, like
notifications.
Amaranth saying Hitler had some good ideas, just took them too far. Asmongold being like, I understand why the Nazis burnt those books. And yet we're talking about Hassan using Zionist in an irresponsible way. Great. Okay.
On these, or to downright reject dozens and dozens of legitimate DMCA requests outright. Now, how the fuck does Trisha get her subreddit removed for copyright infringement? Meanwhile, when I try to do DMCA takedowns on the subreddit, they literally get denied by Reddit. It's my opinion that the stated reason of repeated copyright infringement is a total cover-up. Listen to Trisha in her own words describe how she got her snark.
You can be a Zionist anti-Semite, okay? These two things are not, they don't actually conflict. You can be a Zionist anti-Semite. Very easily, actually. I'm fine with them having their own country. Yeah, put them in their own country. I don't want usury and scheming and subversion and degeneracy in my country. Very easy, you see?
Permanently banned from Reddit.
It's like...
Also, they hate Muslims, so it's perfect. It's perfect. They're like a perfect weapon, too.
One of the downsides about being online, I'm sure, and then when you become a mom, I'm curious about how you're seeing and feeling about, if you don't mind. Yeah. You don't have to answer this, but like it's one thing for you to like insult me or like the work I've done or me leaning into nostalgia, but it's another thing that if you bring my kids into it, like I'm gonna throw hands.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm
a
gonna
whole different thing.
find your profile. I'm not just gonna block it.
Oh yeah. Dude, I found him. I did a whole documentary on Reddit. I had a horrible snark Reddit that was like posting pictures of her doctor, like all this stuff like that, like just making fun of her, like showing where her future schools would be.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. So I did a whole documentary. I had a whole crew come out. It was like a month process, and I did this whole documentary. I like hired a private investigator.
So like you
found
did a
everybody.
troll hunter.
Yeah.
Like,
1,000%. 1,000%. And ultimately, I don't even know if it'll come out because it worked. Now all my snark Reddits are taken down. The minute one is created, it gets taken down within 20 minutes.
They're like, yeah, we don't fuck with Trisha.
Yeah.
This on Twitch is so funny, man. It's all Jewish propaganda that whites are evil. Dude, why are you Codex? You're on some crazy shit right now. Whites are evil colonizers. Browns are always a victim. October 7th happens. It all shifts, and Jews are suddenly the evil white colonizers. But the second it gets flipped on its head, it's all even. What about Elon throwing Rome? Like, what are you even talking? None of this connects. The sentence does not like track from one part to the next. This is like absurd.
I don't know. I called Reddit. I went on this like website to get everybody who worked at like Reddit. I like said this is.
I've done all of that and more over a longer period of time.
Like, this is just retarded engagement too. I mean, Hassan outright supports the people actively trying to genocide the Jews right now. Yeah, man. Hamas they're gonna do it any day now. Any day now. Any day now. People take that super seriously. Any intelligent person takes that super seriously. Hamas is going to genocide the Jays any day now. It's coming any day now. Oh, the rules are, Israel bombs you, you do nothing. Like, there's an actual threat, and then there's like this random, shitty, blown apart, decimated terrorist cell on the other side of the world versus the people in control of the most powerful country on earth. Dude, kill me.
2 years with escalating levels of harassment. Why was it the
Yes, supporting them is still bad. But the point is that as you, as a casual onlooker, claiming to care about anti-Semitism or being any way motivated about anti-Semitism, the idea that you're crying about fucking lefties right now, when there is a much more clear and present threat, and the motivations for Hassan supporting Hamas is obviously not that he wants to genocide the Jays. That's obviously not why he supports them. It's because of this retarded lefty power analysis about resistance and fighting colonization and all this shit, which obviously I disagree with. But to pretend it's the same as throwing up Romans and saying that you love Hitler and saying that the Nazis had the right idea of burning the books or all this sort of stuff it's completely incomparable. The shit that's going on right now from the other side is just so insane.
Trisha and Hassan's were taken down, but
Listen, call out both. Call out both. Totally fine with that. But I was responding to a specific comment about lefty anti-Semitism.
mine remains up. Why did Reddit list the reason as copyright infringement when the actual reason was harassment, as explained by Trisha? By the way, the DMCAs are written by my attorney. It's not even some like ragtag bullshit where I do it myself. My attorney writes it out, well-reasoned, well-sourced, and Reddit ignores it. How is that possible? This is one of my favorite examples. We made a subreddit called Snark to make fun of...
Hassan occupies so much of the discussion about anti-Semitism right now. So much of it. They're putting so much of an emphasis on fucking Hassan. It's I don't think Hassan is truly like anti-Semitic, like emotionally anti-Semitic. I think he has beliefs that pan out to being anti-Semitic in practice. I don't believe he is like motivatedly anti-Semitic, like he hates Jews. He probably hates Israelis. He probably has an emotional hatred towards Israelis. I think American Jews, or like the average Jew, he has like a problem with. Like, he has like an emotional problem there. Or like has a view of Jews as a whole. I think he has specific views about Israelis, and he has this lefty power analysis that leads him into positions that do amount to anti-Semitism. On the other side, you have people literally just like walking themselves into Hitler logic. They literally just are doing that right now. Asmongold is just walking himself down Hitler talking points. Amaranth is walking herself down Hitler talking points. Like...
of snark subreddits in general, and the community was actually starting to pick up steam and become pretty active. Well, it was removed. Why was it removed? For harassment. But wait.
Asmongold was sitting there saying that basically, oh, I understand why the Germans burnt all those books that were written by Jews. They were like, oh, it's good to secure a country or something. I can't remember. I don't misquote it, but he was saying some retarded shit about Nazi book burnings of Jewish like scientific discoveries and shit.
It gets even better. A few days later, maybe a week later, it's back open. And the moderator now that owns the subreddit is a user named Shredder Cheese.
Yeah, he said it was written in Jewish as well.
Is a mod for H3 Snark. Shredder Cheese is a reference to a story they love to tell about how I killed my beloved dog Shredder by feeding him cheese. The mod for H3 Snark named Shredder Cheese is now the owner of Snark. How, Ela asks. I would also like to know how the fuck is that possible? What the fuck is going on? Of all the harassing posts...
Okay, again, I don't want to see any Destiny fans or ex-Destiny fans or anyone associated or anyone that hates Hassan pretending they give a fuck about making fun of someone's dead dog on Reddit, okay? The last thing I want to hear is anyone pretending they care about making fun of someone's dead dog on Reddit, okay?
On the new Snark, the reports are being denied. Now, let me show you an example of one of the posts, just one of many, that Reddit refused to remove. The title is, I'm calling CPS on Ethan again. It says, this time because his kids are around Zionists, which is a high predictor for baby murder. This is a post that is still up on this subreddit that was reported, and Reddit admins reviewed this and said, no, this is compliant. In closing, let's take a look at Reddit's #1 rule for using their site. #1 rule. Remember the human. Reddit is a place for creating community and belonging, not for attacking marginalized or vulnerable groups of people. Everyone has a right to use Reddit free of harassment, bullying, and threats of violence. Communities and users that incite violence or promote hate based on identity or vulnerability will be banned.
I think it's more about how that guy got control of the Snark subreddit. Okay, but the leader of the community in the Destiny case was organizing the mocking of the dog, the dead dog, on the basis that it was dead, and is the owner of the subreddit that is making fun of it, that is mostly against Hassan. Like, I mean, we can pretty easily draw the parallels here, I feel like.
Post does not violate rule #1, according to people that work at Reddit and have reviewed it manually. At first, I thought I was crazy. I was like, there's no way Reddit is actually colluding.
Yeah, they're both funny. They were both funny.
Protect them. But after 2 years passed and the shit just keeps piling up, there's literally no other conclusion that could explain this. In my content nuke, I explore the idea that Twitch has been ideologically captured. And the people in that company are using their terms of service selectively as a form of activism. They come down hard against people.
The thing is, you couldn't ask for a better target than Ethan. You say that now, and I'm inclined to say it like he is kind of lolcowing out. Here's the thing, and here's why I'm being very, part of why I'm being, at least, very critical here. It's a bad environment right now. It's a bad environment for this sort of litigation, this sort of pressure. It's been telegraphed very clearly by the Trump admin that they want to restrict social media more. They've passed that Take It Down Act or whatever for deepfakes. They've spoken about the problems with anti-Semitism online. They've got huge support for Israel. Congressmen are already talking about Twitch. I don't want to be in an environment where there's a bunch of legislation being passed or crazy litigation happening that ends up fucking everyone else. Not really what I want to do. I'd rather much more specific point. If there's going to be restrictions on social media, they should be specific and pointed for specific purposes. Not just trying to stop anti-Semitism. Not just trying to stop anti-Semitism. That's not... I'm not really on board with that. Gonna be honest. So... like, the idea that, you know, we're kicking up this fuss and just going along with it. I don't want to see people totally caught up in a few months when there's some crazy piece of legislation being put on the table. And everyone's like, oh, no, actually, it's based that Trump's having Hassan executed in public. Having Hassan executed in the middle of New York. Actually, no, that's based. I mean, it is funny, but, like, that would be terrible, right? We would all agree that'd be a bad thing.
Disagree with politically, and they ignore, protect, elevate the people that they do agree with politically. Something happened recently that's going to blow your mind. I started running reruns of Content Nuke on my Twitch channel as a form of protest, being petty.
Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you. Thank you for sitting your goy ass down and paying the fuck up. Thank you. Thank you for the best street.
Honestly, and just wanting people on Twitch to see the video I made. Well, wouldn't you know it? If on the same day we launched it, our stream was closed for 30 days, we got a suspension for 30 days. That's pretty severe. What is it that we did wrong? Encouraging or glorifying extreme violence. So,
yeah, obviously the Twitch ban is absurd.
My video showing Hassan supporting terrorism got me a 30-day ban for encouraging and glorifying extreme violence. Hassan's footage of him doing it on their platform and actually encouraging terrorism, no punishment. How the fuck can you be this blatantly, pathetically obvious? They don't care. Nothing's changing. They don't care. They're spitting in our fucking face. They're flaunting it. They don't give a fuck. I got banned for 30 days for showing his content that he wasn't punished for. Make it make sense. And, you know, people go, oh, it was automated. It was probably a mistake. Well, fair enough, right? And that's why I appealed it. And within a few hours, I got the answer on the appeal. Your account was recently suspended for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence. A member of our team has reviewed your appeal, and after taking a look into the details of your case, we have determined that your account will remain suspended due to your violation of our community guidelines. I have never been so black-pilled in my life.
Wow, mic drop, guys. Wow, Ethan mic dropped, guys.
Will remain suspended due to your violation of our community guidelines.
Wow.
I have never been
powerful
so black-pilled
really powerful
in my
stuff.
life. I feel like I am trapped and that the world has gone fucking insane. This shit is bananas. What is happening? And I feel that I'm getting the same treatment now from Reddit. Now, I know they're both San Francisco-based tech companies, but did you know that these two companies in San Francisco, their headquarters are blocks away from each other? It's just interesting. It's just interesting because it shows there's some culture happening in this tech space. I think that these people are all very similar minded. I think that's what this is telling me. Because you got to fit in. If you're going to work at one of these tech companies, you got to fall in line. You know what I mean? You got to be one of the good guys. Actually, I found out that our stream got...
You know Dan Saltman's been crazy making this guy, and you're doing nothing. Listen, I know better than to get between two neurotic Jews working each other up, all right? You never get involved. You never get between that.
Suspended for 30 days live on the podcast.
Is this your account? Oh, your account is currently suspended. To view more information about your enforcement, file an appeal. Okay.
Oh my God! It got banned for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence.
Whoa.
That's fucking
wow.
That's Hassan's content that's on your platform that he didn't get in trouble for. Holy fuck!
How long is the ban?
Well, it should be only a day ban, right? In theory.
Wow.
In theory, it should be no ban because it's his content.
Guys, I got a 30-day ban.
30 days?
30-day, and I didn't even say 30-day ban. I mean, it was worth it to do this just for this. I'm surprised that they're this pathetic.
Yeah, because
I genuinely am too.
That's a manual ban too.
Now, after our appeal was denied, the story started to go viral for its blatant, obvious, laughably absurd.
Dude, am I really gonna swipe on Zenless tonight? Am I really gonna swipe for SS Ambi and Bernice? Is that really what I'm gonna do? Dude, it's just like ridiculous. I missed Bernice. I feel I've got insane FOMO. I don't want to miss Bernice again. But then I also want SSMB. What? Okay. Let me see team comps. 1 minute. Zenless team comps. So, because I'm using Piper for my Miyabi team right now, Bernice would be so much better. Who are people going to be running SS Ambi with? Gregor and Astra. Chingy and Nicole. Yeah, I think I'd be running Chingy and Nicole. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. SS Ambi, Chingy and Nicole. And then what? What would I have enough for another team? Like decent. Is Poultry going to get any play? And is there a support you can sub out with Ellen and Lycaon instead of Astra? Guys, I'm getting distracted. I just finished the Ethan video, man.
Absurd. Hypocrisy, at which point they panicked and unbanned our stream with an apology. We're so sorry for the inconvenience. We made the wrong decision. Well, somebody made the wrong decision manually twice. You want to fucking explain that shit? So here we are. Where it's laughably, our appeal was denied. The story started to go viral for its blatant, obvious, laughably absurd hypocrisy, at which point they panicked and unbanned our stream with an apology. We're so sorry for the inconvenience. We made the wrong decision. Well, somebody made the wrong decision manually twice. You want to fucking explain that shit? So here we are, where it's acceptable to call child protective services on people as an act of political protest on a website, Reddit, in which they do not care, they protect it, they enable it. I have a meeting with CPS on Wednesday where they're going to talk to my fucking children. Twitch is banning us for showing Hassan promoting terrorism. Ban me for 30 days, no punishment for him. What the fuck is going on? As I prepare to meet CPS agents to talk to our children, I wonder, at what point has this gone too far? And how much worse can it get before something is done about it?